Hey there, and welcome to the very first interview for the Worldschool Collective. I'm Ashley, and in this series, I speak with inspiring people who are building learning hubs and communities for world schooling families around the world. In this very first episode, I'm talking to the founder of a beautiful hub in Cantabria, Spain, a magical place where nature, learning, and connection come together. Let's dive in. Welcome, Nida. It's very nice to have you here.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yes, it's our first interview with a World School Hub organizer.
Yeah.
And I, of course, know you because we joined your hub and we really enjoyed it. Uh,
Yes.
yes, so
So,
but sorry?
so did we. We loved having you there.
Yeah, it was fun, yeah. So in
Yeah.
this interview, I would really like to ask you some questions to make it easier for families to yeah to to know if your hub is interesting for them as a family to join. I of course always say yes, join, but every hub is different,
Yeah.
and I also always find it very interesting to hear about the organizers. Why are they organizing it? What's their vision? How does it actually look? Because it's so difficult on the internet to get a good image of how it is, and it's for a
Mm.
month most of the time. So then it's really nice to get a better view of it. So let's start um,
Beautiful.
with introducing yourself. So who are you, and where is your hub located? Can you share a bit more about what you're doing?
Sure, sure. Thank you, Ashley, for, by the way, for having me on this interview and for this chat. And I'm sure it'll be very reflective and very nostalgic since we have shared so many memories together. But I'll try and keep it brief.
Yes.
My So I'm from India and I've been living in Spain for the last 3 years and with my partner Josera. I'm a Waldorf educator, but I've also worked in under-resourced communities as a volunteer in India, and I'm an architect turned educator. So education is really just my vocation, my passion, something that I found my fulfillment in. And so I've decided to take this up as a lifelong journey and learning. And we are located for our World School Hub, we're located in the north of Spain. It's called Cantabria, by the coast of the Atlantic. And we are in a beautiful valley. It's called Viegar de Toranzo, and it has such a lovely energy, the hills, right? Just the sunrise, the sunset. And we're situated specifically in a co-living. That's where we host most of our World School Hubs. We may also do a couple of other venues in the future, but right now that's where we are located.
Yes.
Yeah, and how long we've been running this hub? We started this year, it's 2025. We started in April, and this will be our third hub in November,
Yeah,
and we're
so
very excited.
nice. Yes. And it's a beautiful area. We love it there. It's
Yes,
beautiful.
amazing.
It's green, and it's just really nice.
Yeah, it's
And
gorgeous.
yeah, and what inspired you to start organizing World School Hubs?
Yeah, so I've been a teacher, right, for about 10 years now. So
Wow.
I've been through many different classrooms and settings, and what I see a lot is that children are learning despite going to a school or with going to a school. It's not just when they learn, it's not just a classroom. And as a teacher, I used to feel a little bit limited. So what I used to do is I used to also go hang out with my children, with my students outside the school to be able to see how they learn better. And I've seen a lot in my research and in my home visits
Mhm.
is that what happens in that time when we're organically learning and when I'm organically just with them, so much more interested in learning about a topic or a content or just learning about relationship building, or they open up to me in a very different way versus the way they would do in a classroom.
Yeah.
So that is coming from my own experience, and then I'm just seeing after COVID how the world has changed. And I think COVID has also taken a toll on all of us in terms of how we actually see our lives, right? And it's turned for the better in the sense that we are really critically imagining what education should be looking like for our children. And we are thinking and we're asking the right kind of questions. And as families, as parents, as educators, we're all responsible to frame this path for our children in the way that will suit them the most and their future. And it's not just for ourselves, right? And education in the sense of school education hasn't been updated since 1930s or even the 18th century. They still look the same with benches and desks and a teacher in the front with a chalkboard. And I had those experiences. So for me, it's something that just comes together with. So when I started to look at alternative educations and what's really happening in the world, I could see that we do not need classrooms and a school anymore. What we need are safe spaces for children to be able to express themselves and then guide their learning, facilitate their own learning, and for us to be able to hold that space for them to ask the right questions, for them to look in the right direction, but not to tell them, hey, this is what you should be doing,
Yeah.
right? Or just like follow rules. So, um, World School Hub is just kind of one such philosophy or branch that I'm interested to explore and see what really lies the future of it. But then there's so many different kinds of alternative education, and there's a lot of I hold a lot of respect for all of it. And I really do believe that it's when we work together to bring the best of all the values and philosophies that we will then realize what an excellent education for children could look like. And for every child, that's different. So I cannot really say World School Hub is the only way to go, but I do think that this is one way to go, and it's one viable, very, very practical, very and a beautiful ideal option if families can
Yeah.
and maybe families can attempt to do. And we are all learning in this process, right? So we are all finding out what is the best tool or the best resource, and that's the joy of the journey.
Yeah. So can you give a practical example about your vision on education? Yeah, like based on all your experience you have. Um, for example, how does a typical day or week look like at your hub? Um,
Yeah,
including like your vision on um how children develop and learn.
sure. So with the schedule, what we do is we keep a certain structure, which for me is I see that children do need a little rhythm and structure during the day. And it's nice for them to know that there is something happening at this time and that time. So we do have a scheduled structure during the day, which is from 9:30 to 2 o'clock. It always begins with grounding, with some meditation or silence or nature time, and with community service.
Mhm.
Why we do this is linked to our vision that children, they learn to take action when they see adults are also doing things around them proactively. And so it's always when children, parents come together and they then take care of the space that they're living in, let's say, right? And that also builds community because we are checking in with each other, we're spending time with each other, and we're doing something meaningful. We're giving back to the spaces that we live in, or to the nature that is around us. And so a little bit of what we do is we start with some hands activity
Mhm.
or a little bit of grounding activity. And then from there, children are with me through the day. We usually try and keep one scheduled activity a day, which is focused. It could either be painting session or a clay making session or a model or a dance session, but it has to do with just one activity where children can really focus. And the idea is also that children do what they can and not so much this is what you have to be doing.
Yeah.
And so every child's capacity, right, whatever they feel like and whatever they can
Yeah.
at that time. And we do feel like because we have a pulling and not so much a pushing atmosphere, children come when they want to, and that's so much more invested.
Yeah.
That's just, it just works for all of us. And it also works that children and parents are in the same campus. So
Yeah.
then parents can also step in and take care of the child whenever they are not very energetic or they feel hungry. So they always have the luxury to go back to their homes,
Yeah.
come back when they want to.
Yeah.
Until 2 o'clock, we're usually just busy with that activity, or a continuation of it. Or we might also just take a break that day. And if, let's say, the Cantabria weather is beautiful, sometimes it's just raining, sometimes is offering us the sun, and we love taking advantage of the sunny days. So what we like to do is also just go to the river and make spontaneous plans like
Yeah.
hiking up the hill. And the idea during that time is also how do we best integrate nature and learning about our surroundings
Yeah.
and the geography and what's available there. And for children's curiosity to develop on their own, right? Because they are naturally curious, but really just giving them that space.
Yeah.
And so this is 9:30 to 2 o'clock. And then in the evening, again, we usually have community events. And in that, we also include the children in the sense that there will always be someone to take care of the children, play with them. And because it's such a safe space where there are cabins and the co-working area and all the open areas together in one bound campus,
Mhm.
children are free to be going around and exploring, while parents can be probably just giving an eye and taking a look that they're okay
Yeah.
and feel safe to do their own work as well. So we kind of have that privilege and luxury of just playing in a very safe space.
Yes. That's what I
Does that
really loved
answer your
about.
question?
Yeah, that's what I really
Okay.
loved about the hub. That it's just a really safe space to let the children play. And I guess
Yes,
we can also say that it's more a free-flowing rhythm than a fixed schedule at the World School, yeah? So that
absolutely.
there's
Which
also
is why we even call it the flow and not the
yeah,
plan.
so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And one of the questions I see a lot is that people ask like if it's a drop-off hub,
Hmm.
would you say the hub you organize is a drop-off or something in between, or how would you in ideal situation, what would you say to
Right.
parents? Like what can they expect?
Right. So it is a kind of something in between,
Yeah.
because parents can also drop their children off if we have previous communication that they might want to drop their children off from this time to that time, and then we are prepared to take care of the child. But typically speaking, we are a World School Hub where parents are involved a lot more than probably other hubs. So it's not really like a typical drop-off hub where parents aren't around. We actually encourage parents to be a part of the flow and to take care and to maybe even take a session or a workshop or to attend the workshop with their child to see how their child does in that particular activity. And so it's really just about what the parents or the families might require for that day or for that time.
Yeah.
For example, we also have a few families from around the area who might need to drop off their children for a day or for 2 days, and we know already in advance. And so then we're prepared as a community to take care of the children. So we are also just a community-led event. So
Yeah.
if there is a drop-off option for families, we will say yes to it.
Mhm.
But again, we would like the families to be involved as well whenever they can.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a mix.
Between. Yeah, yeah. That's what I personally really liked, but I can also imagine some people like something else, but that's
Of
okay. You know,
course.
it's
Yes.
yeah. And who is it for? Like we already discussed a bit about it, but like if you would um need to say what's your dream family coming that really suits into the World School Hub you organize, how would that family look? What are they searching? And what ages do the children have?
Wow. Dream family. You are a dream family. So I could probably just ask you, Ashley, you tell us what did you.
Oh no, no, no. I don't know. No, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think it's really
sure.
important. Like
Yeah.
I will not have every like this is like a kind of exclusive interview because we joined the hub. So I
Mhm.
can tell a little bit more about it, of course. But like for us, it was perfect because of this in between thing. So what I really liked as a parent was my children are quite shy. They need time, or at least one of them they needs time to get used to everything. And he hates when somebody pushes him to do something. He becomes really shy. And for him, it was really nice to have this experience that he could follow his own flow. And for us, it was really nice to be around and being able to join whenever we wanted.
Yes.
But also, and when we wanted to work or when we saw the children were thriving in the community, that you were there and we could just go back to the cabin and have time for ourselves or work
Absolutely.
a little bit. And for us, that was perfect because I like when the children free play, but I also like a little bit of um,
For
yeah, not
Caring.
control, like, yeah, caring, like space keeping, so
Yeah,
that you know that there's no bullying and that kind of stuff because they're still
absolutely.
small. So for me
Sure.
that was very, very nice.
Yeah.
But I can imagine if you are more a world schooling family who likes traditional, a traditional classroom with strict rules, and somebody who says sit down and do what I say, that it's not so suitable. I don't know. That's maybe what I think.
Okay. Yes, of course, of course. I think so we like to say that it can be for any family that wants to live in community and learn about how that might look like for their children as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Because what we are trying to do here is learn to not live alone,
Yes.
right? Like to create a more connected world.
Yeah.
And that's why our world school is Ubuntu World School. The idea of Ubuntu is that it translates to I am because you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole idea is how do we best serve our others and then we find ourselves in that service, right? So that interdependence, that connection, coming back to our humanity. And so the idea of a World School Hub for us is that we live in a certain unity but also freedom and in a certain flexibility for each other, acceptance, right? And so yes, there are rules and structure, but those are more from our own actions as adults. And I think the World School Hub, it works for us so much is because we expect adults to also role model those values and not just say compassion is our value or critical thinking is our value, but can we as adults model that for our children? And let's say I'll take an example for you because you have been there. When you serve the animals every morning, children could see that and they would say, yeah, I want to follow Ashley on that and I want to go with her to take care of the chickens.
Yeah.
And this happened, it took some time, but it happened slowly, right? So for us, we don't really believe in expectations from children or setting strict rules in them. So if that's something that families are looking for, probably we won't have that. We also don't give clarity on what a certain outcome might be for a child from the hub, because all of that is up to the child, and we might be able to see that if we are paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Because every moment can be an outcome.
Yeah.
Even the way that they might take care of the chicken, but yesterday they were scared, could be an outcome. But we present to see that outcome, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a little bit of living in community and figuring out how that might be for us.
Yeah.
So a little bit of curiosity, openness, and also families who clearly tell us what they might like from us, because that's so important
Yeah.
because we're creating this hub based on the constellation of families that come for us. So again, what kind of children are their children? What kind of people are they? Right? Do they need more space? Do they need more clarity? And what I really loved is that every World School Hub has been different for us because we have families who like sometimes more structure, and then we try and strive for that.
Yeah.
But also finding that sweet spot where we can accommodate everyone, and yet be ourselves.
Yeah.
Again, it can't be 100% anywhere. And that's the sweet tension, right? That
Yeah.
beautiful spot where we can play
Yeah.
and find out what's best for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. It's I can imagine that's sometimes harsh and difficult, because you have so many voices and people. But it's also beautiful to see the outcome. And your the hub is located in a very small, cute village. Um,
Yes.
how what kind of activities can people expect? Uh,
Mhm.
because what I really enjoyed, for example, is how was it called? The kindness walk.
Yes,
Yeah, can
yes,
you tell a
the
little bit
kindness
more
walk.
about what kind of activities people can expect?
Sure, sure. So it also depends on the season that people come in. For example, for our spring hub, we had a lot of fruit harvesting and marmalade making, and then we would take them on our kindness walks, which is kind of
Yeah,
a that we do, that we gift our creations to neighbors, to people around and the locals, to really just get to learn about our community around and to interact with the local people.
yeah,
Especially also a little bit of language exposure, right? So for a lot of people, a lot of children, just learning a new language or learning the way people are in that place. And so it depends on the season that the hub is
Yeah.
held.
Yeah.
For us, for our summer, for example, there was a lot of surfing. That was a theme, a lot of beach plans,
Yeah.
and also just outdoors, just being outdoors.
Yeah.
When we did our April hub, it was also raining sometimes quite a lot, and then we would have a lot of storytelling, indoor activities like making models out of clay based on a story, and
Yeah.
then them writing their own poems and sharing with each other. Um, the idea is, of course, to drive literacy, to drive a little bit of math, to drive a little bit of measurement, geography, gardening, but to do it in the form of an activity
Yeah.
that integrates all of that, right? So it's really just very subtle. And also, the one thing that I personally like to focus on is values. So
Yes.
how do we really just teach children good values on based on practice?
Yeah.
So a lot of socio-emotional learning as well, right? Awareness of their own bodies, their own emotions. And so that's kind of what you can expect in our hub. We also do a lot of weekend activities,
Mhm.
which will depend on the season that the hub happens. So for our fall hub, we're expecting a lot of autumn walks, nocturnal lantern making walks, and singing around a bonfire and roasting marshmallows, and just doing a lot of the that preparing for winter, right? That coming within and reflection and quiet moments, which is what our bodies need. So
Yeah.
it depends on the season and the way we are tuned into the time of the year.
I love it. I love it. It's
Are you
great.
coming in?
Yeah. We definitely come by, but we don't know if we will stay for
Yes,
long.
of course.
We will go to Spain.
Yes, come by.
And because, yes, of course. Some practical info. For how long can families stay, and how does the accommodation look? What are the options for families?
Yeah. With time duration, families can stay, the minimum is a week.
Hmm?
We invite that so that they can get a little rhythm, a sense of what the hub is really like. And then it can go up to the whole duration of the hub. It could be 6 weeks, 1 month, depending on how long we organize it for. And they can also stay a little bit further, or they can come a little bit earlier. And there is a flexibility around that because we also have a second home. We have some rural houses around. So there are different options. And if people are coming in their caravans, they can also park it somewhere. And there is a parking area, like a proper dedicated caravan parking area. It's not that far away. It's like about 500 meters. And then people can walk up or take their bikes and come to the co-living. The co-living itself, it's full of people and entrepreneurs from many different parts of Europe. So it's a very vivid, vibrant international setting as well. Although we are located in a very beautiful, small, quaint Spanish countryside village, we are also very international. So that's kind of very exciting about where we are. So it's always constantly moving, a lot of people coming through, traveling families, digital nomads. Um, and the World School Hub is also contained by all these people who are also like volunteers. So
Mhm.
somebody who might be living in the area and they might be doing salsa lessons for adults. They might say, Nida, let me come and do a yoga class tomorrow, or let me give you a salsa class tomorrow for the children and for parents. And that's what we are kind of generating as a part of the hub, is that we have a very vibrant community of people who want to contribute and gift, and then we kind of operate in that gift economy as well. And what we want is also for a lot of different kinds of families to be able to afford the hub. So we have a very inclusive contribution system. And even if that's not, that's a lot, then we can also talk about how they can contribute. We don't just depend on the material contribution. We also say that you could contribute by volunteering in the co-living, or by helping us prepare a certain meal, or by doing things in the area, right? So we can look at different forms of contribution,
Yeah.
not just one. And so I think that about answers your question,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
tell me if
Yeah,
I
yeah,
missed.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think we only missed the part where will they stay? So you told
Right.
about different houses, but
Right.
mainly if it's at the co-living, it's they're wooden cabins, yeah?
That's right. There are wooden cabins, and each cabin is fully equipped with a kitchen, with two bedrooms, and a bathroom. And also, it has a little like a out like as you enter the cabin, there is a little sofa that also turns into a bed. So
Yeah,
it's perfect for a family of five maximum. And
yeah,
then there's also another option when the season is better that we can do a little tent or something outside. But the cabins are usually perfect for a family of four to five.
yeah,
That's the idea. And there are five cabins.
yeah,
So we have five cabins, and there's a beautiful co-working
yeah,
space. We also have a community kitchen, which is where most of our community potluck dinners or gatherings take place, and we cook there. And then we basically just bring all that food. We also have a community potluck, a community pot where everybody contributes certain something every week, and then that keeps on giving us the material for the dinner that we can have every Wednesday, which is something that we do as a structure, and also all the activities that we might do with the children every week.
yeah,
And how we sustain the finances is that it's a community pot and not so much belonging to just one family or one person.
yeah,
So it's very community dependent and run.
yeah. I love it. Cool. So let's end with a final question. What is your mission with the World School Hub?
Mm. Wow, beautiful question. I
Beautiful,
love
difficult question.
it. And a difficult one. I wish we had prepared for this one, but okay.
You
But
can just
I,
talk by like your
yes,
passion and your heart.
yeah, yeah. My personal mission, and this is because I say mine because it's a community-based
Yeah,
event, and we have a lot of other people who also hold the space and hold this container. But mine, as an educator and a teacher, and someone who loves children, is is to be able to create a world where children are happy.
yeah,
That's my mission. Um, and then happy children will lead to happy adults, my hope. And
yeah,
then we'll have lesser wars and just everything will be ideal the way we imagine, right? As John Lennon said. And so it would be great if we could just focus on building happy, healthy children.
yeah,
And that's my focus. And then the focus from my partner will be that he wants to create a community of adults who are transforming themselves
yeah,
and working on their own gifts and their wisdom. And then the vision of the co-living where we host is that we could maybe connect kids and adults and then create a better world.
yeah,
So we are all looking at many different levels and
yeah,
then working together to create something together. And then, yeah, I can't really say this is it, but I would say for me, this is
yeah.
it,
Yeah,
right?
beautiful. And I really think that's what your guys are doing because I really experienced that mission within the whole project. So, yeah, beautiful. Thank you very much for this interview. I think it's very worthwhile for adults and parents to decide if this hub is yeah, suitable for them. And if you doubt, I say just do it. That's also what we did, and it
Yeah.
was a great experience. And we will definitely come back. So it was lovely to do this interview with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. And I think the other thing that I probably just wanted to bring up is because it's coming to me, is that I would like my mission is also that we can be connected as
Yeah,
a community of parents and educators who are exploring alternative
yeah,
education and what's best for our children.
yeah.
So the idea of connection, right? And
Yes.
and that's why we're also doing this interview today, is because it's just not lost on one World School Hub or
No,
on one interaction. We
no.
want to create a ripple effect out of
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
And so what is that, right? And that's our big exploration.
yes.
Yeah. But thank you so much for this interview, for this time,
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate your family so much.
Yes. Thanks. Thank you for listening to this first World School Collective interview. If you'd like to learn more about this beautiful hub in Spain, check out espacioubuntu.org. And if you're curious to connect with other world schooling families or explore more hubs like this, visit worldschoolcollective.com. If you know of a great hub we should feature next, feel free to send us a message. And don't forget to subscribe and see you next time. Bye!